Hi everybody, and thanks for coming to our presentation regarding how we added yet another module to our Pure installation. I am Martina Ramstedt, and this is my colleague Hanna Voog, and we work at Lund University in Sweden. We both work at the library, at the section for scholarly communication, and our main focus is to work mainly with Pure. I work with web manuals and instructions, and I also coordinate the support for the university and for the faculties. And Hanna is our assistant system manager, and she coordinates all Pure matters, concerns, and all of our upgrades. And the outline for this presentation is to start with a short introduction of Lund University and us using Pure at the university, and how we added yet another module to our Pure system setup, and what we learned from that, and also the challenges and workflow when implementing a new module. Lund University was founded in 1666, and it is situated in the south of Sweden, pretty close to Denmark. It's a public university, and it has a decentralized organization, and we are organized into 8 faculties and lots of institutes and research centers. The university's research spans over several subjects, from all of the STEM subjects, law and economics, arts, humanities, theology, and social sciences. We are about 7,400 employees, 40,000 students, and we are spread out and traveling between 3 campuses in the town of Lund, Helsingborg, and also the city of Malmö. The university has also a distinct international profile, with students and researchers coming from over 130 countries. The university implemented Pure in 2016, and from then on we call the platform LUCRIS, Lund University Current Research Information System. And most of the information that we enter into LUCRIS is displayed in our web portal that we call Lund University Research Portal. It was a very big implementation process, getting all the basic modules in place. And since the organization of Lund University is decentralized, we have to get all the faculties to make an effort and work together for the platform to become useful for the whole universities and all of the faculties. And after the implementation phase, the day-to-day work in the system within the different modules and with all the data as a whole is placed with the faculties. And the management of the system is a collaboration between the university library and the centrally placed section for research collaboration and innovation. And today we are 4 full-time employees working together centrally with LUCRIS, and we are supporting the faculties in their work with the system.
So, yes. So when we implemented LUCRIS in 2016, we had, as was shown on the previous slide, a baseline of modules that we implemented. But we also got a request from the faculties that they wanted to include information about equipment in some sort. But we had to put that on hold because, yeah, we didn't have the time at the moment. When we implemented Pure at Lund, we worked with different working groups around the different modules, and these working groups, they were often represented by administrators from the different faculties, because we needed all the faculties to say have their saying in how we set the system up. And these working groups, they had their mission was to identify what system settings we should have for the system, also what policies that we should have when entering data, and of course how we should organize the support around the different modules. This was a very good way to do it when starting up, because we didn't really know what this would be for Lund University. But when we now, a year ago, started to discuss how to implement a module for equipment, we took another way in doing so. And we try to approach the implementation process by asking the researchers and PIs working with those equipments in the first hand. And today we were going to present the steps that we decided to follow in order to get this new module into place. And I would say that we have it in our Pure system, but it's not yet visible in our research portal. We are waiting for some portal work on that one. So in January, hopefully you can see it also outside Lund. But the first thing we did was actually creating an inventory of the different the things that we thought that we wanted to add. So we started there, and what did we find? We found a lot of things. This is just some images of different, we found lasers, we found gardening houses, 3D labs, studios. The one in the middle, I don't know if I have a pointer here, but the big one in the middle, it's a virtual tour of the city of Pompeii that is been made by a researcher at our university. But we also have wind tunnels for bats, for instance, and collections, different kind of collections. There were about 200 different items that we collected information about, and there were digital collections, equipment, of course, physical collection, but also services. And often these were combined. It was not only one thing. So it actually became clear for us as in the group of people who manage Pure at Lund University, that this module should be, that our vision or our idea what this module should be was too narrow. I think we set up with the idea that this would be like a list of different microscopes and X-rays and printers and things like that. But we realized that what was actually described when we asked the researchers and the PIs were larger infrastructure that supported the research in a totally different way than we thought. So instead of finding and showcasing single objects, this became the home of Lund University infrastructure. So we actually had to change the name and the vocabulary surrounding this. We were going from equipment to, we talked about facility for a while, but then we landed in infrastructure because we thought that that better described this like fundamentals. But as we all know, any changes and of course an implementation comes with a lot of different challenges. And we identified some challenges that we thought we could share with you today. It's important to discuss these challenges because when you create something new, you automatically create something else as well. When you add a module, you create a new work task, a new workload for many people, not only the administrators and the researcher, but many different stakeholders around the university. And you also need to think about how to put this information in relation to other data that is already added into the system. So the challenges we found, the largest one is, yeah, it is an administrative system after all. In the end of the day, you will not get any applause for working with that. It's something often people kind of find as a burden. So you have to think about that when implementing something new. It's very important to work with purposes and visions and have an understanding how this will actually enrich the research process. Finding the right stakeholders, it's very easy to just use the one that you know exist and the ones that are active in other parts of the information that you add to your system. So we've found it kind of hard to really like identify who is going to be affected of this module, who is going to benefit from it, and who is going to, have a change of workload. So we had to be a little bit creative in that sense. Another challenge is identifying the core purpose of the module. What we set out to do was not what we ended up with. So I don't know, just be humble to the fact that you probably have to change your entire ID, what you're working with in the end. And then finding and redefining communication channels in relations to the different stakeholders, because as I said, suddenly you're working with another group of people that you didn't think that you're going to work with in the first. So in order to reduce these challenges from being large obstacles to like minor road bumps that we actually could get over, we developed some steps that we went through in order to implement this module. And I'm going to go through them now. We had the first step, who was a preparation step, and that was mainly about finding the right stakeholders, the core stakeholders, and working with the purpose of the module in a smaller group. I'm going to give you some more details about these steps in a second. The second step was the implementation step. For us, this step was where we did the inventory of the infrastructures, but it was also where we could pinpoint what kind of information do we really need in order to make this module work. Because you can collect so much data and you never use it. So we really had to pinpoint what is the core information that we need in relation to the purpose. And the last step was the operating phase, and I don't know, that's where we are today. We're working with entering the information, cleaning it, but also reaching out to the different stakeholders and make it work at our university. So if we should go into detail, the first step is about defining the purpose of the new model, identifying the core stakeholders, and redefine the purpose in relation to the core stakeholders' IDs and experience. The second step is identifying stakeholders in a wider sense and establish the purpose that you worked with, but also establish a structure for feedback and development. So if we're in this step, realize that we actually missed the core stakeholder, that we can go back. And the last step is establishing routines for registration, policies, support for all stakeholders, and actually looking back how we did it the first time with the first modules. This was where we focused all our work then, but now we kind of did another other preparations. And then, of course, it's about communicating the purpose over and over and over and over again. That's the main goal of my life right now, it feels like. And each implementation needs its own analysis. I think that's the baseline when it comes to stakeholders and purposes and what communication channels to use. You get a little bit lazy and you use the same communication channels, you communicate with the same people, and then you kind of misses the spot a little bit. And also, I mean, for us it was like epiphany when we realized that we thought that we were going to do something, and now we ended up with something describing actually something else, going from like showcasing single objects to showcasing whole infrastructures. And these steps, I mean, they are not, we will probably rewrite them next time we implement a new module, but we created them in order to like be able to go back and remind ourselves how we did this time, and hopefully it's useful. It's kind of generic, so hopefully it's useful for somebody else. That was actually everything. You are very welcome to ask questions and or email us, or I don't know, grab us during coffee later on, or not grab, no. Didn't come out totally right, yeah, yeah, okay. Metaphorically grab, yeah.
We have at least 5 minutes for questions.
Yep.
So if you have questions for the team about the implementation of the new module, we have time for them. Any questions?
Yes.
Julia, up front. And I'm going to look online as well, but we don't have any yet.
So thank you for your interesting presentation. So do you link the facilities with publications?
Yes. Not yet, because we're just in the process of adding the information about them, but that is that's the idea. We're gonna link it to everything, and we're waiting for the portal adjustments, but we're gonna have like a single tab. We're not on the standard portal, I would say. We're still on an advanced portal. But we will have a separate tab with the different infrastructures, and we will, showcase any kind of information that is added to it.
And we can see that in January, right?
I'm looking for the portal team. So yes, if they say yes, you can see it in January, and I'm really hoping it's in January, yeah? Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah.
We actually do have a question from the online audience. They want to know what steps you took to identify the core stakeholders throughout your multiple phases.
Oh, there were loads. But as I said, we are a decentralized university, so we work, we are four full-time equivalents who works with the management of Pure, but we have a large group of people from the different faculties. We use them, but then of course we had some kind of snowball effect. So we identified some of the infrastructures, and we just took the one who was interested in this. But as I said, now we're in the third phase. I guess that we will need to maybe recommunicate some of the stakeholders that we now identify. So I hope that answered the question. Yeah.